Good morning, you guys. It has been almost 2 weeks. It's been rough. It's not been easy. It's not been fun. So I'm probably gonna start this at the beginning of July. July 5th. One of my favorite artists, musicians, I don't know what he was, Ozzy Osbourne, played his final show. That hit me like a truck. That was hard. Watching and hearing his decline as fast as he was declining, ended up really getting to me. Yeah. So I took that incredibly hard. Now, let me back up even further. I have listened to Ozzy Osbourne's music since Black Sabbath. Didn't realize it at the time, but when I met my husband, that is when I made the connection that both mine and his music somehow got mixed up. And that's when I found Ozzy's music. Like I said, I've listened to him since Black Sabbath. Okay. July 22nd. At rough guesstimate, probably somewhere around 12:30-ish, I found out Ozzy passed away. That hit hard as well. And one particular thing that caught my attention with it was in one of Ozzy's songs. It's called Crazy Train. In the beginning, he yells, "All aboard." And to hear the original song to when he played his final show, he could hardly yell "all aboard." Yeah, so I think some people are missing some facts, and I'm definitely one of those. Okay, I found out yesterday. I have information pulled up on my phone. Ozzy Osbourne, the Black Sabbath frontman, defining figure of British heavy metal, died of cardiac arrest, also suffered from coronary artery disease and Parkinson's disease. Now, I know, from what I know, Parkinson's is not a killer. However, the other two are. So, I don't know why they put Parkinson's on the death certificate, but it's there. So it took me a while to get myself back together. There were days where I spent in bed just crying, and I would randomly, we're not gonna cry, we're not gonna cry. Anytime anything about Ozzy that came up, whether it was like a tribute to Ozzy or something about Ozzy's family, anything along that line would majorly upset me. Now, Mufasa was alerting and tasking like crazy through the entire thing. It got to the point where I wanted to stop taking my medicine again. I don't know why I do that. I can't really figure it out. I don't know. I just don't know. I wanted to stop taking my medication, and I'm glad that my mom basically told me, no, you get your ass up and you go take it. It got to the point where they had to almost double the depression and anxiety medication from 50 milligrams, which on any normal day would have worked just fine for me, but through this entire thing, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. So they pretty well doubled my medication, and while it helped, I still wasn't where I wanted to be mentally, physically. Like, I stopped taking care of myself. My hair was in a quite literal rat's nest. I stopped brushing my teeth. I'm not really sure how to word this next part. It got so bad. I don't even know if I should honestly say it. Not suicide, not any of that, okay? I made a promise to my husband that if the depression got to that point where I couldn't deal with it anymore, I wasn't gonna go out by suicide. Something else was gonna have to take me out. The best spot and the easiest spot for me to be at that point was in the bed, and I just didn't care. I didn't want to sit up here and feel the empty that was very much there, and then I ended up staring off into space where I could just try and leave all of this behind. It ended up really hard. It took me a while to be able to get out of that headspace and hopefully get to the point where I was functioning again. Excuse you. Which wasn't an easy spot to deal with. And then when Saturdays came up, I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do my meetings with my trainer and any of that. I didn't want to do any of it. No matter what I said or I did, I always tend to make somebody mad. Now, I don't know. I don't know if this is true or not. I think my trainer is extremely angry with me, because I had to jump on a deal that I couldn't pass up. And weeks prior to doing that, we had already talked about Mufasa doing more mobility, because as I'm noticing I get older, my legs don't want to work the way that they used to. It is incredibly painful for me to go up and down stairs. Now, the harness that I have been using to teach Mufasa to help me go up and down the stairs is okay for short-term use. It's been months. So me and my trainer talked about possibly getting a padded biothane harness for Mr. Mufasa to actually put the weight distribution on Mr. Moo properly. Now, I found this awesome company called Biodanes on Instagram, and she had a setup that I fell in love with, and I already have most of the stuff that I need for that setup. So we decided to go with a red and black theme. Now, I will say I did purchase quite a few items from this person. Now, pricing wise, like, I know mobility equipment is going to be expensive. There is a lot that goes into it. It's not just throw a couple pieces of biothane together and call it good. That's not how that's gonna go. Now, I wasn't going to say prices. This entire setup cost me about $300. $300. Like, I'm sorry, but that is absolutely crazy. Now, this is a setup that it says in the description. This is something completely new and different to Biodanes. And this is a one-of-a-kind, since we are not sure if this style would be, and then it just cuts off. But yeah, that's the harness, okay? So, I already have a lot of the stuff that goes with this particular setup. No matter what I say or what I do, I'm always gonna make somebody somewhere mad. So when I was talking to her about the set, I happened to also be going through my gear and my spring summertime gear and stuff like that. And I realized I don't have a micro mini of a burgundy type color for one of the harnesses that I like to use with Mr. Mosey. So it's one of the first things that we talked about is the fitting of this harness to Mufasa. I explained to her, I was like, hey, he's a little bit on the heavy side right now. I don't know if the girth is going to work. And she told me if I'm able to get all of this in bulk, she would throw in a girth extender for free. So I sent her Mufasa's measurements, everything quite literally lined up. The guide handle is 14 inches, the CB handle is 6 inches off his back. It quite literally is made for me and Mufasa. The only thing that went wrong with it is girth and a tiny little flaw on the girth, which is purely cosmetics. It's not, it won't harm the harness in any way. So I honestly just don't care about that. So when I jumped at getting this harness, because I needed to do something for me and Mufasa, I do a lot of the stuff that I do is actually for my channel. I want to continue to work on my makeup collection, but just kind of is what it is. Yeah, no matter what I said or I did, it would make somebody somewhere mad. So when I went to get that beautiful piece of work, like I said, I added a girth extender, a micro mini in this color, and a hands-free leash. She already put attachments for a cape on it and other attachments for a pull strap. So I have a micro mini coming. It was kind of funny to see her reaction to the micro minis. I just don't have any hardware and or biothane at the moment. Like here, I have red biothane at storage, but that's not the color I need. Okay. So we got that, and I realized these are micro minis. One is a little bit bigger than the other, but generally the same size. I love these. Okay. This, I hate it when Mufasa trips on leashes. Hate it. So these he doesn't trip on, and it's quite literally a perfect length for me and Mufasa, which is all I really need, all I really care for. But yeah, so I have a black and red micro mini. I also have an Amazon leash that is already, it's padded, but it's already black and red. So this would have been extremely helpful. And then I have a red and black collar for it as well. So this collar, we didn't know about keepers when we first started with biothane. So instead, we put zip ties on Mufasa's collar. There used to be a orange zip tie on this one. I didn't like that, so I wanted to change it to black, so I had to go and get the zip tie things out of the bottom part of the RV and figure it out from there. I also have, I'm not really sure if I would use this quite yet because of the spot on the side of his neck, but I have a Velcro collar. I love this thing. However, Mufasa not so much. He itches at this like crazy. It is absolutely insane how much he itches at that. He doesn't do that with Biothane, but Velcro collars is just not his thing. I am going to have to search for my cape. I have absolutely no idea. Give me 1 second. Absolutely. There's a crack in the wall. Nope. Wrong one. Aha! Why was it in the corner? Okay. Chair. Calm down. So I switched some of the patches on this particular harness, and I'm honestly thinking about taking the in-training patches off and using them for around here. That when I train him, I try to put in-training patches on, but when I am not going to be doing that with him, I try to keep service dog patches on it, the best of my ability at least. And if you guys know me, you guys know that I don't switch my vests and my capes very often. This is an Apollo 9 from the company One Tigers. I love this thing, okay? The zippers on it, they're not like the smoothest thing, but they work and I like it. I'm proud of it. But yes, this is the cape that I have for that setup. I want to work on a couple more. I want to do an Ozzy Osbourne themed one. He had red braids. He always had a gold cross necklace, and then his black bat, his like custom throne that Sharon basically forced him to sit in. And she tied him down. He wanted to take one last bow, and Sharon wouldn't let him. I don't know. I have thoughts. Anyway, I want to do an Ozzy Osbourne and bat themed one. I'm not gonna say why the bats. In fact, I don't know if I should say that on here. But that is probably gonna be my next piece for it. I want to see about Halloween theme one, Christmas themed ones, and then I've purchased from this person before, okay? I have a yellow yellow and black Y front harness for. It was originally for Little Miss Maddie, but it made her way too hot. So now that particular harness actually fits Xena as well. So now it's Xena's setup. But if you guys know me at all, you guys know that I am anchor obsessed. There is anchors right there. There's an anchor right there. All across the window. All the way over there. My wallet is anchors. My service dog related stuff is anchors. So I wanted to see, I don't like putting girly stuff on Mufasa. I don't care. I have a male dog. Like, no. Other people can do that with their male dogs. I'm not gonna do that to mine. But I quite clearly have an anchor obsession, which I'm fine with. My username on Instagram is not going down. Like, you're not gonna take me out without a fight. Misty's dog gear. I had zero idea that she was doing mobility equipment. Now, from the looks of this, it almost looks like some kind of padded biothing. I'm not really sure, but the colors are perfect. Like, perfect. This is another setup that I would like to get. Maybe sometime next year. I'm not too sure. But it is a blue, white, and gold theme mobility setup. Like, that's perfect. I love this so much. Okay, so you guys know I can make pocket capes. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I can do it if I have everything I need for it, basically. So I found, hubby originally found these. I don't remember the store's name that he found these on, but these are iron-on patches. Love. Okay? Absolutely love. I want to do some kind of, like, anchor or stripes. I want to throw anchors into this some way, somehow. But this is one of the vests that I made for Mr. Mufasa. Now, because it has a black bottom on it, I think it might make it a little bit too hot for him to wear. So, I don't know if I don't want to cut this apart. I'm not really sure what else to do with this. But yeah, I took Ozzy's death really hard. Emotionally, I completely checked out. There were times where I had to force myself to get out of bed and shower. Didn't want to. Didn't care to. Set the water too hot. Damn near passed out in the damn shower. But yeah, a couple more, like, pieces that I have been looking at. love that pull strap. I've been, so if you guys know anything why this is perfect for Mufasa, his nickname is Nugget. Okay, he has multiple nicknames, one of which is Chicken Nugget. Perfect. And then for the bat themed one, I found this. A guide setup, which I like this setup alone, but not a huge fan of the colors. So I would probably change the colors to that. I was also thinking about getting a mobility assistance cape in red and black for the setup that I previously showed you. And then Mr. Mufasa decided it would be a good idea to sit on Dad's shoulder. Oh, Moo. I lost my diamond painting of Mr. Muzi. I have no idea where it went. So I might have to reorder that one. But I let hubby pick whatever one he wanted me to work on, and he picked the red Tinkerbell one. I'm so excited. Fall slash like Halloween themed vest. I'm very excited. A fall vest. I'm so excited about a lot of this. Like, a lot of it. Bat themes. Oh, in taking the break that I did, my neighbor, the maintenance guy, told me that my other neighbor is a really good electrician. I can use the help of an electrician. I can. So I go over, I introduce myself, and I'm not gonna say his name, you guys know I don't do that. I told him, I was like, hey, you're a highly suggested electrician? Like, put it in kind of a question form for him. He's like, yeah, I'm an electrician, is what I do. I'm like, is the electrical setup in an RV the same as a house? He goes, kind of. Obviously there's a few differences with it, but I'm like, okay, is there any chance you could help me? He's like, okay, can you kind of let me know a little bit more info about what's going on? I'm like, okay, my kitchen and my bathroom. He's like, okay. The one in the bathroom was sparking. You moved it one wrong way and it would spark. He's like, oh, that's really not good. I'm like, okay. I kind of figured that wasn't good considering the sparking, but kind of whatever. And then I have 2 outlets in my kitchen that don't work at all. He's like, okay, that's pretty strange. So my shelf that's over here, the box that he needed to get to was behind that. So we had to quite literally move my brown shelf over there. That was not fun. Um, but he was like, it's a really good thing that you guys chose to move. I'm like, oh, why is that? He's like, the lot that you were in, there, in these power boxes, there's a white wire, and he goes, the wire in the box that you guys were plugged into was completely melted. He's like, if you would have used any more power from that box would have gone up in flames. I'm like, it's already sparking. He goes, I know. I'm the one that gets to fix it. I'm like, I'm sorry. Yeah. I think that's everything. Questions, comments, feel free to comment. I love you guys, and I hope you guys are having a good day.